Kumba Iron Ore. It's the world's fourth largest supplier of seaborne iron ore and is 65% owned by Anglo American. Its Kolomela mine in the Northern Cape is ramping up production, while its Thabazimbi mine in the Limpopo Province is winding down. Kumba has a price-to-earnings ratio of 10 and a market cap of 163 billion rand. Anthony, let's focus in on the issues that the acrimonious relationship, if we could put it that way, that it has with ArcelorMittal, because that really being seen by the fact that we had domestic sales falling back for the first quarter by 18% year on year to 1.3 million tons. What is the status quo, current status quo with Arcelor right now?
Well, they're going to arbitration. Who knows when that's going to happen? But the risk is that that cost plus 3% contract could come back in force. The government's very keen to have a kind of a development model pricing or pricing model in the country. So I think the market is has priced that risk out, and we are concerned that the valuations are steamy with Kumba. The risks are quite high.
Okay, so if the market's priced that out, what do you think the market has priced into the Kumba Iron's share price? Because it is the most expensive stock if you're looking at it as an absolute value on the exchange.
Look, you've got to understand the history. Kumba is the old Eskom mining division, which got turned into Kumba Resources and then split into Exxaro and Kumba Iron Ore. Anglo American then came in and provided the capital to transform the business by, in effect, substantially expanding its Northern Cape production across the fence at Sishen South, which is now called Kolomela, and they decided to really step on the gas with regard to the global export model. The ArcelorMittal thing is an expensive irritation, because ArcelorMittal has always been an irritation as a company. They own the steel mills, and of course this is a very tricky market, just big enough to be worthy of consideration within the larger ArcelorMittal global group, but not big enough really to determine its own pricing and so on and so forth. So there's a vexatious fight going on, but in the longer term it's not as important in the valuation of Kumba Iron Ore as the global market demand is and the number of dollars that they can get for each exported ton via the Saldanha port. So in my own view is Kumba is a fantastic stock if you're bullish about the iron ore price, which I am.
Ramping up production at Kolomela mine, they're looking at this being a key staple within, of course, the Kumba group going forward. What does Kolomela mean to Kumba going forward?
It means increased complexity of mining. That means increased costs. And we think that on top of that, you've got a very expensive valuation, as I said, and you've also got quite a short life of mine. 23 years is total production profile at Kumba. We think that really after Kolomela, that's there are going to be question marks around growth, and I think Kumba might be forced into an acquisition strategy to acquire growth, and that could increase the risk of poor capital allocation decisions.
So we've got to that time of the night with this stock up 13% this year, so outperforming the resources index. Your thoughts then, hot or not?
We think this stock is expensive. There's much better ways in this local market to play the iron ore theme, and we think it's not hot.
Not hot?
No, I'm happy to call it hot. It's much more straightforward mining than some of the other stuff that we get up to at deep level with cooling and all the other attendant safety risks. Transnet is a concern because they supply the rail line, but they've been able to run bigger trains and through scheduling get a better solution. The management team is very good. And remember, because they're held 70-odd%, 65 by Anglo American, Anglo American needs the cash. So as a shareholder in this thing, you get a high dividend yield. I will concede that single commodity stocks are always dangerous, but for me, even at these sort of fairly elevated levels, 520, I think the big picture of growing to 50 million tons per annum, it's hot for me.